I got asked, do I have a solution to eye pokes? Now, the eye poke bothers me, and it bothers me because there's only two things that you can't do today and you couldn't do it on day one. All the way back in 1993. Don't bite the guy. Don't gouge his eyes. And where's the incentive not to? Simple question, but where's the incentive not to? Like here, let's just go back to Saturday. Surreal Gone gouged the guy's eyes, not once, but twice. Even if it was one action, and even if it was on accident, right? But he got both eyes, and we all saw that. Surreal Gone will get full pay. By the way, is 7 figures. Surreal Gone's next fight will be a main event. His next fight will be for the World Heavyweight Championship. His next fight will again be for 7 figures. So, what part of that is the deterrent? It's a simple question, particularly when you're talking about something that is accidental. But we see the same thing with low blows. And we just do, he kicked him low. We know that he wouldn't mean to do that. What makes you so sure? And at what point does it not matter? I mean, what difference does it make? When I was growing up, guys, the gold standard of reality is what happened. It's what your parents would ask you. It's what the teachers would ask you. It's what the principal would ask you if you ever got called into the office. What happened? But that is no longer the gold standard. The gold standard we now live by is emotion. Not what happened, but how did it make you feel? And it's a very strange thing, in my opinion. How we ever got around reality being what happened. You took your foot and you put it in that guy's nuts. You did that. Whether you did it on accident or not, it was your foot. Do you deny that? It was his nuts. Do you deny that? You used an action. Do you deny any of those things? Okay, great. Then you kicked him in the nuts. And now he's hurt. You've now changed the fight, not in his favor. I can't share that it is in your favor, but it is not in his. He's the one that's violated, and he doesn't get anything. He doesn't get a point. He doesn't get a win. He doesn't get 10%. He doesn't get a yellow card like they used to do in Japan. He doesn't get anything. I don't know that he gets an apology after the fight. I don't know that anything comes with it. And I'm just looking at Surreal's situation. Some people are trying to blame the gloves. Those people are called weirdos, but they're trying to blame the glove. I grew up as an amateur wrestler. We are not only allowed to, we're encouraged to touch the guy's head, to touch him, to push right on his face. Right on his face. Every wrestling match will do this every time, both guys. Nobody ever gets poked in the eye. I've never poked a guy in my life in the eye. And I don't have some kind of great control. I don't have some mechanism, but I just share with you, then you'll have these other weirdos that come out and they argue a glove. Now, those weirdos in the argument of the glove do have something. Like there is a glove that would make it impossible to poke somebody in the eye. My teammate Dan Henderson would come back after he fought in Pride, and he had this blue glove, and I'd wear him some days where I was dreaming of fighting in Pride. He let me wear his gloves, and it was bent in a way that I simply could never poke somebody in the eye. So those gloves do exist, but do we have to make the change to them? And I don't know that it changes things. Let's say we make a glove, and I tell you how hard it is with the Pride glove to poke somebody in the eye, but somebody else, and the way their body type is, the way their finger, boop, and they get you right away. And it's still your finger, it's still his eye. So what would I do if I wanted to stop this? Well, first off, I'd have to do something. Do you guys believe there's a rule at school? Any rule that they tell you? Do you believe it really is a rule if you then immediately find out that there's no consequence? If they tell you right away, you can't do something, you go, well, what if I do? And they go, well, nothing. Do you see where your mind says, okay, then that isn't not allowed. If there's no punishment, then that action is allowed. And it does feel like this on this eye poke business. And the idea of bringing the fighter in, and hey, fighter, what do you think? You know, to even put Tom in that spot. Tom should not have continued with the fight if there was a regression to Tom's abilities that were done by an opponent and were done against the rules. But we didn't call it illegal. We didn't call it illegal because our gold standard of reality is no longer what happened. Our gold standard of reality is, how did what happened make you feel? So we have a sport regulated by the government, but the government has a clause where they turn to the athlete for his opinion. They would like his advice. They would like him to make the call. And if Tom would have used the wrong words, if Tom would have spoken and used the wrong words, they could have restarted the fight. Tom says, I can't continue. And then they could have stopped it in a different action and taken the belt off him and by TKO or verbal submission, awarded it to Surreal with nobody else throwing a punch. The way that the rules are, the words that came out of Tom's mouth, had they been different, could have allowed for that to happen. Now, fortunately, Tom was smart. Tom knew what time it was. Tom answered this accurately, and he didn't ever go back on it. And it's a very big deal that he didn't. And Tom took some bumps for it, but I'm just asking what should have happened. It seems as though we should have met resolution. You can knock a guy out. You can submit him. You can go to a judge's decision. Or you can have him disqualified. There's 4 ways to win. People love to tell you there's only 3. There's 4. There's 4 different ways to make sure that your name moves through the bracket, that you advance. And you have an action where a fighter dug his finger into 2 eyes. And that fighter will get his full pay. He will get a promotional push. He will return to a main event, and he will get a world title fight out of it. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I understand the rule. The rule was accurately followed. I'm asking you if you want to change things. Do you see where world title fight, main event, $1 million? Do you see where that's not a detractor? So now you're on the honor system. And if a guy wants out of a fight, he can do it a couple of ways. He can say, I've been hurt. Or he can do something to hurt the other guy and hope that he brings conclusion to the fight. If you wanted to stop eye pokes, and please don't tell me about gloves. I just ask that you don't tell me about gloves because it's boring. I just ask that. I mean, you're one step away when you go, wait, let's just change the glove. You're one step away, and I get that it's a big step, but you're one step away from saying, let's just chop his hand off. It's a weird thing to say. Bare knuckle uses no gloves, they don't poke him in the eye. Wrestling uses no gloves, they don't poke him in the eye. And they're even encouraged to touch his face. They're encouraged to touch right next to the eyeball, and they still don't ever touch it. So please, don't turn to glove. Please just don't do that. So aside from glove, how do you deter a guy from poking him in the eye? Because giving him $1 million, return him to a main event, and assuring him a world title fight doesn't seem to me like the appropriate action.